With all that's going on in the world, believe it or not, right now, this day in 2020, it's the right time and it's probably the best time to start your online business. So whether you want to make a full-time income online or simply a side income, right now is the time to act, not tomorrow and not next week, but right now. Believe it or not, but freelancing is one of the best ways to get started and it's one of the easiest ways to get started. In the simplest terms possible, you offer a service to a business and they pay you a monthly fee or they pay you an hourly rate and that's it. Now, if you're interested in social media marketing and running an agency, you're probably thinking, hey, why are you talking about freelancing? But the fact is that freelancing is very easy to get started with. It might not be the best in terms of longevity and, profitability, but for starting off, it's a great place to build your confidence, build your skills, and build your selling ability. And you see, the thing is that not knowing where to start or not knowing what to actually focus on is going to hold you back. Do I sign up on Upwork? Do I sign up on a different freelancer site? How do I even get clients? What do I do when I get a client? All of these questions you probably have. Okay guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Adam. If you are new here, please do smash the subscribe button and hit the like for the YouTube algorithm. As you can probably grasp from that short little intro, we're going to talk about freelancing today and how you can get started the quickest from scratch in 2020. So I've actually put together a little presentation, so I'm going to jump over into my laptop and I'll see you on the inside. Okay guys, so it looks like we are ready to go. Let's jump into it. How do you start freelancing from scratch as a complete beginner in 2020? So before we jump into, the meat and gravy of this and all the tactical strategies, one thing you really have to pay attention to is your mindset, right? There's a thing I like to call the freelancer trap that nearly every single freelancer falls into at one stage of time, me included. And I'm going to explain to you why you need to overcome this. And then I'm going to give you some tips that you can use to overcome this to make sure you become successful as a freelancer and you don't just have a few clients and then fall off. So basically what this is that a lot of freelancers, when they are started off, or even when they've been working for a few months, is they get themselves a couple clients. And I did the exact same thing, okay? So for me, I had about 2 clients and each client was paying me roughly 1K a month. So I was making a nice 2K per month and I was thinking, hey, this is cool, this is as good as a 9 to 5, this is good. Now, the big problem there was that I spent all of my time delivering the service, okay? So they were paying me for a service and I was spending all of my time delivering that service. And the big problem here was that after about 4 or 5 months, even though the client was happy with my service, one of them had a big business expense that they had to cater for and ultimately just couldn't afford to pay me anymore. Okay, so when that happens, I was struck. I literally had my income cut in half. And the big problem there is that I didn't spend a lot of time talking to new businesses and new potential clients. And I didn't do enough sales. I didn't actually sell myself and sell my services. So I was stuck at that 2K per month mark because all of my time was spent doing the service. So I'm going to show you now what you can do to avoid this freelancer trap. And it's going to basically make your life 10 times easier. So as a freelancer, it's very easy to just spend all your time delivering the service because like I said, you could have 1 or 2 clients locked in and you're happy with that. But what you have to do is you have to always focus on getting more clients. You want to spend 80% of your time on getting new clients and maybe 20% on delivering the service. That is how much or how important it is to just spend a lot of time looking for new clients. It's funny, I actually heard a very similar thing in a rap song today that said, I'm going to hustle like I'm broke. Okay, so it's a bit of a different context, but it means the same thing. When you're a freelancer and when you get your first few clients, you don't just pretend you're balling now, right? What you do is you hustle as if you still have nothing. Even if you're making 2K per month, you still hustle like you have got nothing coming in. And then all of a sudden, after a few months, if you keep that up, you're going to be making way more than 2K. So that is the first thing. Focus on getting more clients all of the time. The second thing you got to do is you got to build a team and you got to find other people who can deliver the service for you once you start getting a lot of clients. When you get to about 80% of capacity, this is when you really need to start looking for those people. Now, if you don't do this and you ignore this advice, you are going to struggle because if you hit max capacity, you are not going to be able to always focus on getting new clients because now you're at max capacity. You got to spend all your time doing the service. And very, very quickly, even if you're making 10K per month, if all of your time is spent on the service, clients are going to drop off and eventually your income is just going to go down and down. And the third thing that you got to keep in mind is that you should not solely rely on freelancer websites to get your clients, such as Upwork or freelancer.com. These are great. These can obviously get you some clients, but ultimately you need to be able to find a way in which you can get clients without these. What happens if you get a bad review and your Upwork profile now looks really bad? What happens if for some reason you get banned? Or what happens if one of these companies just magically disappears? Okay, I know that's not going to happen, but you've got to think of that. And you have way more security if you find a way for you to find clients without the help of Upwork and without the help of these other freelancer sites. Okay, so what I want you to keep in mind is that you can use these sites, but do not focus on them 100%. Maybe give them 20, 30, 40% of your time and spend the other time elsewhere, actually going direct to businesses and finding them yourself. And then the fourth thing that you got to keep in mind is that you should work on a monthly basis, not on an hourly basis. Reason being here, it's very, very straightforward. If you work on an hourly basis, you are always going to be capped by the amount of hours you have and the amount you charge per hour. Let's say you charge $20 per hour. You can do, let's say, roughly 50, 60 hours a week, and that's kind of pushing it. You're always going to be capped at that. So if you're making 2-3K a month and that's your kind of rates, for you to make 5K or 10K, you have to jump up your prices. You have to increase them a lot. And ultimately, not everybody's going to be okay with that. So it's much easier if you can get paid on a monthly basis, on a monthly retainer, because now if you're at 80% capacity and you start finding team members, they can do the work for you. So there's 3 key things that you need to start freelancing, and these are the same 3 things that you need if you want to start a social media marketing agency. They're very much the same, except when you're starting off as a freelancer, you're doing everything yourself. And like I just mentioned, you only look for a team when you've got maybe 80 or 70% capacity. So the first thing you need is you need a service to offer. It's pretty straightforward, but if you don't have a service to offer, you don't have anything, right? Good way to do some research here is to go onto Upwork and look at all of the services that are trending, look at the ones with a lot of demand and pick one of those. Now, secondly, you need a niche to serve. You don't want to just serve everyone. Let's say you're going to create websites. You don't just want to be the website developer or like a website designer. You want to design them for a specific niche because it's going to be a lot easier to basically sell to those people. What you can do here as well is you can tie your interests into this. So for example, if you love going to the gym, you could decide that you just want to work with gyms or people in the fitness scene, okay? And the third thing that you got to have is a predictable way to sign clients. Like I just mentioned, you don't want to rely on Upwork and these other profiles all of the time. You want to find your own way of getting clients, and that way you're going to have a much more solid foundation. Okay, so let's jump into this really quick. What do you need to pick a service, or what kind of services can you offer? So first off, you got to pick something you enjoy. It's very, very simple. If you don't enjoy doing websites, don't offer website development, right? You got to find something you enjoy, because this is going to be something you're going to do a lot of work at, and you're going to have to find people in the future that can do this work as well. So if you enjoy it, it makes it way easier. Secondly, you got to find something you can learn easily, right? I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to be a Facebook ads guru if I've never run Facebook ads before, right? It's just not possible. You got to put in time and effort to do those things. So pick something that you can learn easily. For example, running a social media page or doing content creation, very, very easy. Almost anybody can learn how to do these. You don't need to be a graphic designer. You can hire a graphic designer, or you can just use canva.com. So these are things that you want to look for. Point number 3, and something that's extremely important, is that you have to find something that business owners actually want. There's no point saying to them, hey, I'm going to make your website look really cool, because ultimately they don't really care if it looks cool. They want to make more money from it. They want it to be easier to use, and they want it to be easier for the customers, right? So you got to find something that really resonates with one thing that they need. So the way I look at this is there's kind of like 3 elements to this. 1, you can save them time and effort. 2, you can make them more money. Or 3, which is the best scenario, is you can combine the both of those, and you can save them time and make them more money. And lastly, this is incredibly important and something people skip over all of the time, is that you got to find something that businesses will pay you to do every single month, not just once. So if you want to go down that route of building websites, the problem here is that if you build a website, that's a one-off gig. They might need another website maybe in a year's time, but you don't have a recurring income. We're looking for services that we can offer on a monthly basis, meaning that if we charge $500 a month, we've got $500 a month coming in every single month, and we're not chasing these one-off website deals. I would much rather have 10 clients that pay me $500 per month than having, let's say, 5 big clients that paid me 3 or 4K each for websites each month. Because I would be constantly in this state of flux where I'd have a lot of clients and then I might have no clients the next month. And I would much prefer that stability, and it's just much easier to do it that way. Now, the second thing you got to do, like we mentioned, is finding a defined niche to serve. So let's go into it, right? First thing is first, there is no perfect niche. And you got to pick something that you know a lot about. Like I said, if you like going to the gym, why not work with someone in the fitness industry? You probably know a lot about it. You know what the end consumer is looking for, and it's just much easier to do it that way. Something you are passionate about, again, if you like the gym, perfect example. And you've got to find a target market or a portion of the market that can actually pay you handsomely and that actually needs your service, right? So there's no point of me going to, say, dentists, right? And I say, I'm a videographer and my offer is that I would create YouTube videos for them, because ultimately the dentist may not want YouTube videos, right? It's very unlikely that a dentist wants that. What a dentist would probably want is maybe some advertising or Facebook ads where, you know, they could spend $10 or €10 and make 20 or 30 back. That's a much more attractive thing for them. And finally, you got to pick a niche that is not seasonal, okay? So for example, if you decide that you only want to work with swimwear brands or bikini stores, I wouldn't do that because they have a very seasonal life cycle, right? So they obviously have a huge amount of demand in summer months, and the rest of the year they're pretty quiet. If you pick a niche like this, you are going to experience the exact same thing, and your income is also going to be seasonal. You're going to get paid more in the summer and less for the rest of the year. So again, try and just pick something that is not very seasonal, that is just something people need year round. And the third thing, creating a predictable way to sign clients. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, you don't want to rely on freelancer websites. They're fine for getting a couple clients here and there, or even if they bring you in 1 or 2 clients a month, that's great. But if you rely on them, you're just at their mercy. And as I always say, if you can sign 1 client, you can sign 2, right? And if you can sign 2 clients, you can sign 5 or even 10 or more clients. The process is the exact same, so you've got to study this and make sure that you know how to do it properly. If you can sign that 1, get a good result, and they pay you a good bit of money, you can do that again. You just got to find a way to systematize that so that you can do it over and over again. So all those things are great, right? You know, they're great. But so let's talk about how you can actually start signing clients like ASAP. So the first thing you got to really focus on is outreach, and this is essentially just talking to businesses. Whether you want to email them, you want to cold call them, you want to send them a DM, you want to find them on Facebook, it does not matter which way you do this. I can obviously give you ways in which you can do it, but the big thing here is that you just do it. You just get in front of more businesses, you have more conversations, and that's going to ultimately lead you closer to getting your first client. Second thing that you got to do is you got to focus on sales, okay? So you got to practice sales. Sales is not something that comes natural to most people. If you are a natural salesperson, hats off to you. You're in a good position and it's going to be a lot easier for you. But for most people like me, it did not come naturally, and it's something I had to learn. And the way I learned it was practice. Very, very simple. There's not a whole lot of things in life that you can learn without practice. Study a bit of the theory, but ultimately you got to practice this stuff. So just ring up businesses. That's a very easy way to start it off. Put yourself in the deep end and just see how you react. And ultimately, you just rinse and repeat, right? So if you can get more businesses, you can talk to more of them, and then you can sell more of them, that's where you're going to make your money, right? Those are the two big levers that are going to be in your business. So look, I'm going to give you a very practical way in which you can get started as soon as possible. So like we just discussed, pick a service, pick a niche. So now you've got to master those 3 things. You got to find people, you got to find leads, find businesses online. You've got to get in front of them, talk to them, have those conversations, and you got to sell them, okay? If you can do all those things, all those 3 key things, you will be on your way. If you're wondering what to say to businesses, where to find them, or even how to sell them when you have a conversation with them, I can help you out with that. That is why I put together the 6-figure roadmap, and it's for freelancers and agency owners who are starting off and basically want to start signing their first few clients. Or if you have your first few clients, it's going to help you scale up and sign more clients consistently and predictably, okay? So I'm going to be able to give you $10 off with code SAVE10. So the link to the 6-figure roadmap is in the description. And definitely get your hands on that if you need a bit of help starting off, because it's basically everything I did and the exact messages and templates and scripts that I use to sign my first few clients. Okay guys, I'm going to wrap up the video here. I hope you enjoyed that short little presentation and walkthrough. I know a lot of you guys find that to be a little bit more understandable and easier to comprehend, so let me know if you want more of those type of videos. And as mentioned in the video, if you do want to get started right now and you want to cut all that time wasting and you want to just get straight into the meat of it, you can get my 6-figure roadmap linked in the description below. Make sure to use that discount code, save yourself $10. And without further ado, I will see you in the next one.